Well, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. I am Jamie Adkins, and I am the Director of Business Development at MedShift. I am very excited to welcome you all here today for our training event with our new partners at Dermalux LED and our very special speaker today, Melissa Williams. So I'm going to get our presentation started here. Okay. So today, I'm sure everybody's aware that the general topic of our event is really about the benefits of using LED technology for your patients. And we're so proud to have partnered with Dermalux as they're the global leaders in LED. So not just here in the US, but really they have an enormous footprint overseas. So for those of you who may not be familiar with Dermalux, I mentioned that they are a global LED company. They're based out of the UK, and they have thousands and thousands of clinics across the world that are using their LED technology. And I know Melissa is going to dive into that in just a little bit for you. And I think even more importantly, their proven technology has indications that no other LED technology company has. And it's to treat a variety of skin conditions and basically to improve overall skin health. So again, with that very brief introduction to our event, we are so excited to host Dermalux today and to do a little training on their devices. But first, for our agenda, I'm going to give you a little introduction to Melissa, and then Melissa is going to present today on the core of our presentation. And of course, we're going to finish up with a live Q&A where you can ask questions for Melissa, and certainly I'll share a little bit more about how you can get some more information about Dermalux and keep in touch with us. But before we get started on our presentation, again, I would love to welcome Melissa Williams. She is the head of education for the entire Dermalux LED organization, and she has shared that she's a self-confessed skincare addict, and she has over a 21-year-old track record in aesthetic medicine. So again, we're excited to welcome her. As the head of education at Dermalux LED, she's played a really pivotal role in shaping all of Dermalux's educational programs. And ultimately, Dermalux is invested in trying to empower professionals to excel in their field, particularly in the realm of LED phototherapy. So again, thank you, Melissa, for joining us. One thing I want to mention before we begin, I know I did share that we're going to have a live Q&A, but I'd like to encourage everyone, if you do have a question, go to the right-hand side of your screen. There's a chat feature there. You can actually type your questions in the chat box. We'll be getting to those questions after the event. And of course, I'll be here if you have any questions during that I can answer for you. So with that said, I'm going to let Melissa get started, and welcome again to our event.
Well, thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. And I'm going to get stuck straight in then. The reason that we're all here is for me to introduce Dermalux. And I just want to cover a couple of topics in today's session. We'll have a brief overview of what is LED phototherapy for anybody that needs a refresher here. We're then going to take a look at the benefits of LED phototherapy in aesthetic medicine. We'll take a look then at the Dermalux advantage. What makes a Dermalux device so different to any other LED device in the world? And then I also want to share with you some great ways that you can integrate LED technology into the protocols for pretty much every single treatment that you offer to enhance their results and many more benefits. So let's get started then and take a look at what is LED phototherapy. And I like to start with this slide because it gives us a one-liner of exactly what it is, and what we can do then is looking at it more detail, and also to a really great one-liner for explaining it to clients and customers as well. So LED phototherapy is the application of low-level light energy, and energy being the key word here, via different wavelengths to stimulate, regulate, or inhibit specific cellular processes. So to allow our skin to work as it biologically should at the optimum level. So essentially, LED phototherapy delivers energy to enhance cellular performance and accelerate repair. Now, the key word, as I mentioned, is energy, and there are many different types of energy, and energy impacts other things in its environment. It creates changes by causing reactions that we need to be able to, to function, to do anything. You need calories as a form of energy to be able to move. You need heat energy to create chemical changes, for example, of turning water into steam, and then the chemical change of steam into boiling water. So there are many different types of energy, but there is nothing as precise and as targeted as light energy. We can travel to certain layers of the skin, certain layers of the cell, certain layers of the organelle within the cell to create that chemical change there and then. And when we look at that in terms of something like acne, a lot of people may have medications, antibiotics for acne, again, another form of energy to create those changes within our bodies and within our skin. But there is a low to medium chance that you get the result that you want in the time that you want it without all of the side effects and so much more. But when we look at light therapy for acne, for example, we can destroy bacteria, we can trigger the wound healing process, and we can reduce inflammation there and then. In that session, we can trigger those biological processes by energizing the right cells within our skin. So it's so impressive. And I mentioned acne, but there are many, many indications that light therapy is great for. And why LED phototherapy then in our industry? Well, it is a non-invasive treatment without the without the pain, without the downtime. It is an aesthetic treatment where you see those visible results, even using LED on its own as a standalone treatment, but also it's the most in-demand skin treatment. With Dermalux, as Jamie said, we have the market share across the globe, and we have noticed the trends. I mean, 11 years ago when we were first created, the education wasn't there back then with LED, and now the reason that Dermalux was born was because of the extensive research and the fantastic technology where we saw that gap in the market. And we've noticed that, during lockdown, end users were using LED treatments because they wanted that aesthetic result, but they couldn't go in for treatment. So the demand on us was absolutely huge, but then the demand started to shift, and now it is going into clinics looking for professional only treatments that are powerful LEDs to create more changes, to get quicker results on the surface. And then, the last 3, 4, 5 years, we've noticed now that clients are coming into clinic and they are having invasive procedures, but they are asking for LED as part of that program. So here in the UK, that I can speak for, of course, we have the market share across the globe, but in the UK, there is not a clinic now. If you go to any of the exhibitions, the huge events, every clinic has Dermalux LED because they want to advance their services. So we'll come on to that. It's versatile. You can use it for every single treatment, whether that's particular conditions that you're trying to treat, medical conditions, rosacea type symptoms, psoriasis, all grades of acne, down to well-being for pain management, pain relief, mood enhancing to anybody suffering with low mood, seasonal affective disorders, which we all get in the UK, and we're just about to hit the winter, so that's on its way for us. But it goes beyond skin, but we are finding incredible results for preconditioning invasive procedures. So having a course of LED phototherapy 2 weeks before, so you're having 2 sessions twice a week before an invasive procedure, preparing the skin, stimulating collagen, stimulating the fibroblast cells, getting prepared for the trauma that is about to be caused, because we know the responses that we get from that, and then allowing the skin to prevent any risks, because we've removed and modulated inflammation. So no post-inflammatory pigmentation, no risks of scarring, all of those things that can be a risk with invasive procedures. And then of course after, your post-recovery sessions. These are the treatments that you would use LED with straight away to reduce inflammation, to prevent complications by making sure that there's no bacteria on the surface of the skin, to accelerate results by up to 200%, which is a really great way to introduce LED into your treatment menu by asking clients when do they want to see results. And then simply adding LED phototherapy on, because we know we can stimulate that cell regeneration by up to 200%, bringing the new healthy cells that are working as they biologically should, but then accelerating their action so that we then start to see those results quickly on the surface. Again, a couple of the things that I've mentioned here then, stimulating collagen production. We use particular wavelengths that help to stimulate the mitochondria to produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, essential for life. It's that important. These are the organelles within our cells that are the powerhouse of the cell, and without these working effectively, it leads to a whole range of skin conditions, and it can start right there with the mitochondria, which I'm sure you'll all know inside and out. Reduces takes the skin out of panic mode by reducing that inflammatory mediator activity that is caused by the wrong type of thing, by the mitochondria being blocked and therefore not able to produce ATP, which we then see that inflammatory mediator activity again. Accelerate the healing process. So that is why it is used immediately post-procedure, and then you can do a post-procedure recovery plan, and then clients can come in 2 weeks after that to accelerate their healing and modulating inflammation, making sure that we are triggering the right collagen when we create that trauma in the skin, and then making sure that we get the most out of that treatment. For clients, if your clients, or if your business goal is to build brand reputation, you can only really do that if you have your own before and afters. They definitely don't want to see the ones that Dermalux have created. They want to see the ones that you have got with your clients, and Dermalux is the tool to get you there even better, to get you that really impressive before and after result. It is painless, as I said. It's a very low risk. It's the most safest treatment that you can offer in clinic, and is suitable for absolutely everybody, all skin types, skin tones, genders, and all ages as well. So again, that it depends on your insurance in terms of who you're covered for. But imagine targeting those 11 to 16-year-olds with severe acne, which we know, of course, the actual appearance of acne is not really the issue. It's how it affects their mental health as well. And complements every treatment, and I've got a list that I'm going to share with you as we go through today's session. Promotes overall skin health, so brilliant for you to be able to, once they've finished a course of any treatment that you're offering, they can then come in once a month or a couple of times a month for their LED session to maintain those results. So it is great for that overall skin health, but of course the client's value in terms of revenue to you as well. It's surprising how, to do a Dermalux treatment, it costs absolutely nothing. Over in the UK, it's 1 pence for a half an hour session, which is nothing. So the high profit that is there on offer is amazing. And of course, it's a hands-free treatment. So there's so many other things that you can be doing at the same time. We've got a lot in the UK, we have a lot of people that offer light clinics or light lounges where clients can then come in as little or as often as they want to. They can offer light membership packages as well, which also work really well. I just noticed here that the sound quality isn't good. Is that the case, Jamie, for you as well? Everybody else, sorry about that. It's me. I think it was okay when we started, but just drop me a message to say if you need me to shout, I'll give it a go. Yes, I'll shout out for you, that's no problem. And then it is totally customizable, and I'm going to talk through that now as we look at the technology, so you can really see the differences in terms of how our LED devices are so different to others because of this technology. So let's take a look at the next slide, and we're going to start then by having a look at some of our very impressive before and afters. So these are using LED on their own, barrier skincare in most cases. Of course, you are going to see a great result. Me being obsessed with skincare is just as important. You need really great active ingredients to support LED, but here are some brilliant photos taken in a short space of time. So this particular client was having 2 sessions per week, and yes, as I said, barrier skincare, and this was over a 6-week period. So some really great results. We work with a lot of medics in the UK that say that if your clients can come in more often, 3-4 times a week even, they can get 100% success rate in just 4 weeks. So again, really impressive. So it's down to your client's compliance for how long that they can, how often they can come in during the week. Here again, psoriasis. So we are home to the technology, meaning that we are the only LED manufacturer to have the medical certification for the treatment of psoriasis in many places across the globe, which is so impressive. And you can see here, you know, almost 100% clearance in some cases. Again, inflammatory skin conditions, any type of inflammation, you know, deep inflammation, surface level inflammation, which is why you see some brilliant results, and quickly as well. Wound healing, bruising, we use it in a lot of plastic surgeries, use it immediately after an invasive or ablative procedure. Bruising, so a lot of clients that offer injectables will not offer an injectable without an LED session at the end. They offer a much more premium price, but that is the quality that they want to give to their clients. They want to prevent any bruising, they want to prevent any breakouts, and of course give the skin a good dose of energy for overall skin health as well. It complements injectables, dermal fillers really well. Rejuvenation, I love these photos because, you know, with light we can get such a difference in terms of the rejuvenation for our clients. Deep set lines and wrinkles, photo damage, melasma, hormonal pigmentation. It really is a great treatment for multiple indications. And what is brilliant about LED with Dermalux is that you can use multiple wavelengths in the same session, so you can have that reduced treatment time but with superior results. So sometimes you go in for one thing and then you notice amazing results everywhere else, which is obviously a good bonus for that. Redness, you know, we've had a great paper that was published by a doctor where he had used the TriWave MD, one of our devices, versus IPL for hypervascularization, and we were able to get 70% of the results in 1 month versus 3 months with IPL. And of course there's lots of different side effects, risks, and so on. So really impressive. But LEDs actually also can be used as a combination with IPL. So if you've got both modalities, you get an even quicker and better result when using them together. Rosacea type symptoms as well, we get some fantastic results for. So it is a clinically proven treatment, and you don't need to take my word for anything that we talk about today. There are thousands and thousands of clinical papers on many different types of indications used with LED, and it's nothing new. It's thousands of years old, and of course there have been Nobel Prizes won for LED in 1903, I think it is, for the treatment of certain skin conditions. So yes, it's nothing new, but in our industry it is termed photobiomodulation. So photo meaning light, bio meaning life, and then modulation meaning change. So you need light to create life and change. So some of the clinically treatments then that we've listed here, and normally what I would suggest is to not put Dermalux light therapy on your treatment menu. And in actual fact, now what you should do is list all of the treatments that you can now successfully treat. You have the tools to be able to get exceptional results for anybody that comes in. So this is a really good list to be able to put onto your treatment menu. Acne, all grades of acne, rejuvenation, pigmentation, including melasma, redness, including rosacea type symptoms, inflammatory skin condition like X-type symptoms, dermatitis, psoriasis, wound healing, again, of any kind. And if you use it pre-wound healing, you know that surgical procedure, for example, you know that you're going to create that wound in the skin. It is brilliant to make sure then you don't suffer with keloid scarring and hypertrophic scars and so much more. It really does remove that risk of those kinds of treatments. Of course, pain relief. So many people do not utilize the pain management side of this. It brings in a whole new audience, and the relief in most cases is instant, and then it's a regular use for you then to be able to see those results long term. And that is for musculoskeletal pain, so inflammation in the joints, the muscle, great for recovery after injury, and much, much more. Well-being, I've already mentioned. We've got wavelengths that help to trigger serotonin levels, which is your happy hormone. Wavelengths that help to induce your melatonin as well, which is your sleepy hormone. So great to help induce sleep. And most people do fall asleep underneath it. And then and hair restoration as well. So some really great treatments that you can continue to offer or be additional to your treatment menu. And so with Dermalux, we use 3 different wavelengths. We don't use yellows or greens because there's not enough clinical data to support any therapeutic benefit. So believe us, we would have that if there was, but these are the most clinically proven, industry-leading wavelengths that are backed by science. And what that means is that it offers the highest clinical benefits to any other wavelengths for these types of indications. So the number here is really important that you can see here. This measures how long that wavelength is in nanometers. And therefore this means that it's going to reach the target point of our cell in our body. We have cells called photoreceptors. They are cells that are designed to absorb light to function effectively. So when we reach that photoreceptor, we can trigger that biological change to start the process and see those results. So, for example, we have blue at 415 nanometers. This is our antibacterial wavelength, destroys that C acne bacteria. If you think of the pathology of acne, where there's the blockage and then the dry dead skin cells, sebum on the surface, overproduction of sebum and large sebaceous glands with certain hormones present, making it the perfect place for C acne bacteria to thrive. And so if we can destroy that bacteria there and then and help to reduce inflammation, we're going to accelerate that whole process so that we avoid scarring and we can prevent that from coming up again. Improves the skin's clarity, anti-inflammatory effects, targets certain viruses as well. Great results on a cold sore, never need to turn anyone away again. And your blue then is proven to enhance mood. You've then got red, which is your rejuvenation light at 633 nanometers. And this is all about energizing. So anything that any biological process in the skin that you want to accelerate, for example, fibroblast cells, accelerating the collagen, elastin, hyaluronic acid, growth factors, and all of the other products that the fibroblast cell helps to create and release, you can then accelerate that with red light. So it is known as our rejuvenation light because of that. But any activity that you want to, you want to energize, then red light is the wavelength. It improves the skin's tone, vitality, also helps to regulate the melanin synthesis within our skin, so helping to reduce hyperpigmentation, accelerates cell renewal by up to 200%, which is why we can get exceptional results. And then your red light helps to stimulate blood circulation, which is important, the glucose, oxygen, the nutrients that our cells need to function effectively. And then near infrared, I love talking about this one. Every single one of us needs this. It's pretty much in all of the protocols that we have. Near infrared is our healing light. It's completely invisible. So when you get your device, have a play around with it. If you choose near infrared and think that it's broken, it's absolutely not. It's just because we cannot see that wavelength. But a good tip is to put your phone underneath it and on camera mode, and then you can see the wavelengths that way. But we all suffer with inflammation, deep inflammation, surface level that we can see. We all eat the wrong things, drink the wrong things, don't sleep well, feel stressed. And when this happens, we then are creating processes in our body that aren't working effectively, which can lead to inflammatory mediator activity. So we know that using near infrared is just brilliant for everybody, and of course it's the perfect wavelength immediately post procedure, because this is known as our healing light. So it offers advanced skin rejuvenation benefits by supporting and unblocking the mitochondria, by taking the skin out of panic mode. It can accelerate the activity further, calms redness, irritation, modulates inflammation, so controls that inflammation level in the skin, accelerates the healing process, great for helping to reduce swelling as well. We use it for dermal fillers, dentists use it for dental swelling, and also promotes pain relief. So again, a red and near infrared together are perfect for pain relief. So let's take a look at some of the technology then. Oh, quickly before we do that, this is showing you where these wavelengths then work in the skin. You've got your blue wavelength, which works right down into your epidermis, which is exactly where we want it to be, to destroy that C. acne bacteria by causing that triggering the ROS response, your reactive oxygen species, to destroy the bacteria there. Red light traveling down into the dermis, reaching the mitochondria within our cells to trigger that energy production, to accelerate all of the activity. And then near infrared goes right down into the subcutaneous layer and even into muscle as well. So a couple of things then in terms of the technology. Just check the time quickly. I do talk a lot, so tell me to shove on if you need me to. But let me show you then some bits of our technology. So of course the wavelengths, the most clinically proven wavelengths, which is really important to get you the best results. And then the reason that we existed, our amazing tri-wave therapy, which allows us to use the wavelengths that we just discussed, either as single wavelengths or multiple wavelengths in the same treatment to target multiple indications. So it just means that with Dermalux, you just get quicker results without that extended treatment time. A lot of LEDs, you need to change the LED heads, or you've got to do 20 minutes of one, 20 minutes of the other, or they have LEDs where you have one LED, but you are trying to put 3 or 4 different lights out of one, which means you can't get that power level. You can't get the delivery of photons, the particles of energy. We cannot get enough into the skin. And so with this technology allowing you to choose which wavelengths you want to use, of course you can treat many different indications because they are single wavelengths in each LED. Also, then our unique Tri-Wave MD technology. Now, this is found in our Flex MD and some of our other devices, and is just a breakthrough in terms of LED technology, which is why Dermalux have that market share because of our impressive before and afters. And what it means is that our LEDs are not off the shelf like other LED devices. So these LEDs that they use could be in TV screens, mobile phones, but our LEDs go through several different test and matrix to ensure that the energy is ultra focused, that our wavelength is narrow, so that we are not having wasted energy, and we are also ultra precise, reaching that target point of the cell. So I'm going to come on to the next couple of slides, which will explain that in a little bit more detail. But what it means is that our LEDs have been configured to deliver more photons, so energy, the particles of light, more photons to the treatment area than any other LED device available. So simply put, with Dermalux, you just get better results. And I'm going to show you how that stacks up again versus our competitors. But let's have a quick look at the explanation of a wavelength. It travels as a wave, light, so you can see that it has the peak that goes up and then comes back down again, hence the term wavelength. But this point here at the top is called the peak emission point, and this is where light reaches the target point of our cell, so reaches that photoreceptor. And then here, this dotted line measures the accuracy of a wavelength. So the closer that these lines are together, then the more focused that energy is to reach the peak emission point, that target point. We're not wasting any energy that's going into different layers of the skin or even reflecting off the skin altogether. And then when you look at this next slide, you can now see how our devices compared to others. So the green line is a Dermalux LED, and then you've got the red, blue and yellow, which are other LED devices. And you can see here that Dermalux has a high precise peak emission point with a maximum difference ever of 2 nanometers either side, which means when we say 415 nanometers, which we know is the most clinically proven wavelength, the maximum difference that could be with a Dermalux device is plus or minus 2 nanometers. However, with other devices, this can go up to 10 nanometers difference either side. And it doesn't sound a lot, but in photonics, that is huge, because it could be the reason that we miss that target point of our skin altogether. And if you have clients that say, you know, I didn't see a difference with my LED that I had before, well, this is the information that you can share, and also to challenge other LED competitors as well in terms of their LED technology. So this is patented to Dermalux, but you can also see here that we have these lines. The dotted line here is nice and short, which means that all of that energy will reach the target point of the cell, versus the other wavelengths where these are now traveling to a totally different layer of the skin. It means the energy isn't being used, and when the energy isn't being used, could convert into heat. And you imagine if you've just done an invasive procedure and you now have heat on the skin, or you've got a problematic skin condition that you just don't want to treat the skin that way, but you can feel very safe with a Dermalux device with our photon-rich delivery. Again, this is kind of just showing you exactly what I've said. So focused light going to the target point of the skin versus it reaching the wrong level or even bouncing off altogether. And we also have our uniform delivery. So we've got the brilliant canopé design, which has the perfect distance from the skin, which means that we get an overall application of light, as opposed to the spotting that you can get with the masks that tend to sit on the surface, or the masks that you hold. There's different handheld devices that you have to maneuver around the skin, so they only treat that area. And of course, to have the best results, we need to be treating at least 20 minutes with an add-on, or half an hour with a standalone treatment to get the best results for our skin. And so, again, just to recap, our most clinically proven wavelengths, 415 nanometers, 633 and 830 nanometers, are multimodality treatment, allowing us to use all of those wavelengths in the same treatment without compromising on power. The photon-rich delivery, delivering more photons to the treatment area than any other LED device. And what that means is the more power that you are delivering into the skin, so the more energy that delivers into the skin, the more interactions you have. So each photon, each particle of light, interacts with one organelle, one photoreceptor. And so therefore it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So the more photons that you have, the more interactions that you make, the more biological changes that you make, and then the better and the quicker the results you see. Targeted light technologies, again, making sure that we are putting all of those photons to the treatment area as opposed to wasted energy, and then our uniform delivery. And so then that leads me nicely to the fantastic FlexMD, our most powerful portable device in the world. And it is at least 3 times more powerful than any other portable LED device. It is powered by the Tri-Wave MD technology. So all of that technology that I've just mentioned to you there, that's patented to Dermalux, is found in the FlexMD. It has this great flexible design that you can see here. It pulls out of the tray, which allows you to be able to move it all over. It is great for great as a versatile approach to all types of conditions. 7 single and multi-wavelength treatment modes, so easy to set up. It's just a paddle like a remote control, and you choose the wavelengths that you want, and then you press play. The treatment time can be anything from 1 to 30 minutes. Dermatologists, medics love that option, because it means that you could target any condition as long as you know exactly what that condition is, and then you know the wavelengths inside and out. You can mirror them up and create those biological processes however you want to. So it can be as simple as you need it to be, or it can be as in depth as you need it to be. It's an entry-level device for skincare professionals, so anybody that's wanting to enhance their clients' outcomes, then it is a brilliant device for them, and can also be certified for home use. So in the UK, we have a FlexMD rental program, although I was training some of our US partners yesterday afternoon, actually, and they said that the British are way too trusting. There's no way they're letting anybody take this device home. So, and you know, that's fine, you don't have to do that, but there is an option to do that as well. And so the great thing about the FlexMD is the protocols. We make it so simple for you. You get this great in-depth protocol manual, but these are perfect. There's these slides to show you, the possible indications and conditions that you might come across, then the differences, so the differences between mild and moderate acne and how we might need to change that protocol, or the differences between photo damage pigmentation, hormonal pigmentation. So it's all being thought out for you, and is available on this really great cheat sheet that you can keep next to your consultation area. And for combination protocols, as I've already said, it is pretty much for every single treatment that you have. We get exceptional results after skin needling, mesotherapy, skin tightening treatments, body treatments, resurfacing, skin peels, chemical peels, microhydrodermabrasion, ablative surgical procedures, injectable treatments, Botox, fillers, dermal fillers, laser, IPL to use straight after to help with reducing downtime, to help accelerate the wound healing process, to enhance results, and then importantly to prevent further complications that can come with some of these invasive procedures. And again, to make it all simple, to be able to do a really quick treatment setup, you can see here we've got these great combination protocols which will list out all of those treatments. Again, there's some fractional treatments. Is there anything that I'm missing there? No, I think we've covered it all. So everything on here, then it tells you the wavelength that you would choose, and then the treatment time that you would do that for. So it just makes it nice and simple. And to do a treatment, if you were doing a standalone treatment, you cleanse, tone, exfoliate. Again, exfoliating is important where you can, so that we're removing any uneven, dry, dead skin on the surface, allowing for all of the absorption of light. Then you always got to pop your safety goggles on. You use the paddle to select which wavelengths you want, and then you press start and it will activate the treatment, and you finish with your moisturizer and SPF. If you are using LED as part of your protocol with any other treatment, it is always the final step before you moisturize. The only time that isn't the rule is if you have a self-neutralizing peel, and then we suggest that you either do the session beforehand, or your clients come back 24 hours after. And I think that brings me to the end. So thank you so much for listening to me. I'll pass you back over to Jamie, and hopefully we'll have some questions that we can go through.
Yeah, thank you so much, Melissa. This was fabulous. So much great information for everybody who's on the line with us. And I thank you all for staying. Before we get into our live Q&A, if anybody has questions or you'd like to take advantage of some of the opportunities through MedShift to get a Dermalux, you can certainly scan here to learn more. And also you can reach out to us directly. We have some great account managers who've been educated. They've gone through Melissa's training. They know a lot about the device, and they frequently field questions as well. So with that said, I'm going to jump straight into our live Q&A. And I did see one of our attendees had asked a question through the chat to everybody, which is great. And I believe she'd asked, how does this compare to using PRP post-procedure for inflammation?
Yeah, so all types of PRP. Actually, I think it's on one of the, I think I might have missed it on the reading that through the list there, but it's on the protocol, combined protocol list. And, it is brilliant for PRP, even scalp treatments for hair rejuvenation and healing, and any type of inflammation. So how you would use it immediately after PRP then is you would wipe anything excess, any blood, anything excess off the surface of the skin, and then you would use your LED device, and you would use blue if you feel that there could be a risk of bacteria. So again, to prevent further complications, and then you would use near infrared. So you would put them both on together, and you would do that for a 20-minute session as an add-on. And then what you can do is offer your client a post-recovery plan. So they would come back for 2 weeks. They would have 2 sessions each week over 2 weeks. And then they will start to accelerate that healing process. We don't need blue then. You can then start just on the near infrared to allow us to modulate that inflammation and get an even better result at the end of it.
That's fantastic. And it actually brings me to another question, Melissa. One of our account managers I think they had fielded a question from a customer who had asked about using it before and after a procedure. So for something like this, could you potentially use the device pre-procedure and then again post-procedure? Would you recommend that?
Yes, so we wouldn't recommend it in the same session. So there would be no need to have, let's say, 20 minutes before the session and then 20 minutes at the end of the session. But what you can do is you can have a 2-week preconditioning plan where your clients again can come in a couple of times a week, and at this point you want to have red and near infrared. We want red to accelerate all of our skin activity, make sure that we've got enough hydration in the skin, the fibroblast cells are working effectively, we've got good blood circulation to feed the cells, and then you would have your procedure, and then immediately after you can then use near infrared again to modulate that inflammation, but also make sure that we're producing the right type of collagen so that we get a great result at the end. So there's no need to use the treatment for longer than 20 minutes or 30 minutes a day, depending on whether you're doing an add-on or a standalone treatment, because that is the optimal time that your skin needs to be able to take what it needs from the energies that are being delivered. Anything longer than that really would just be a waste of your time, a waste of the client's money, but it can be used daily. If you get clients that are obsessed with it and want to come in daily, then you absolutely can, but we normally suggest for any of those kind of conditions, the medical conditions that we spoke about, acne, psoriasis, that type of thing, you really are looking at commitment for your clients to come in for 3 sessions a week until the course finishes. We normally suggest a course of 12, and then they can have their maintenance treatments after that.
Yeah, fabulous. No, thank you for that. And direct message, is this safe for pregnant or postpartum women?
Yes, so absolutely. There really is just a handful of contraindications. As I said, it's one of the most safest treatments, and of course we're using light energy, different wavelengths, and of course the light energy is also the sun, which without it wouldn't exist. So we don't tell pregnant ladies to not go out in the sun. It's absolutely fine to do so. And we are using wavelengths that aren't your UV rays or ultraviolet light. So it's absolutely fine and safe. We just ask that you check with your insurance company in terms of what your protocols are with that. But again, great for breastfeeding. I actually do have a medic that I worked with who was using one of our devices for cesarean scars and all sorts straight after birth. So yes, it's absolutely fine for both of those things.
That's great to hear, because I know a lot of practices, obviously there are so many things that pregnant or postpartum women can't do, right? They're so restricted that it's nice to see something they can enjoy. One thing personally I'd love for you to share with our US attendees, everybody here's based locally, but what do practices typically charge for a standalone LED treatment, or do they sell these in packages? If you could share a little bit about that, I think that'd be helpful.
Sure. So please do forgive me for giving you English prices. Is that okay? Pounds? I'm so sorry. How useless of me to not be prepared with dollars. Dollars? Yes, dollars. Am I right? Where are we in the world? Yes, that's right. We're in the US. So I do apologize about that, but what I can share with you is kind of how much it is in pounds, and then maybe we can get those converted. So normally with the FlexMD, if you are doing a standalone session, which is the 30-minute session, it really can be anything from £45 up to £60 for that session, and then for a 20-minute add-on, again, that can be anything from £30 up. It just depends on the area that you're in, and really the type of practice as well. And then normally what clients would do is they would they would charge for the full course up front, and they would normally charge for 10 sessions as opposed to the 12. So that's kind of the way that they get that payment up front, by giving a couple of sessions complimentary. But normally, yes, you would sell them up front as a course. And then you've got your maintenance sessions. So some people will even take a year's payment up front, which could be, the value of a client that's having a course and then having it regularly can be anything from £1,500 to £2,000 just with LED. So if you have a designated area for that you take your client at the end into the light clinic, and everybody is having light therapy, it really does push that profit level to the next level, which is what we all want. Of course, first of all, it is game-changing customer service, but then it's down to profit.
Thank you for that, and for everyone on the line, about 50 pounds is roughly, I think, $60 to $61 right now. So very profitable for 10 sessions, maybe $600. That sounds amazing. I think we have hit time. If there are no additional questions, I'm just looking here. I just want to thank everyone for attending today and staying through the very end with us. Melissa, you're fabulous. We love working with you, and thank you for joining us and sharing all of the great education with everybody. Again, to anyone that's interested, please feel free to scan that QR code or reach out to us directly, and we will be following up with all of you with a recording of today's presentation so you can look through all of this again. But if that's it, thank you, and have a lovely rest of your day. And Melissa, a lovely evening. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.